back to the verdict, as we did promise when we took the break. First, it was the news updating you on that, and then Polstream updating you on what's happening on the social media. But now we're back in the main The Verdict studios. So I want to thank you for joining us, or rejoining us, as the case may be. IJ and NT are still here with me, and of course, we have since been joined by Mr. Philip Igbeni-Jesu. I hope I got that right.
You sure did.
Indeed. A legal practitioner who joins us in the studio here. We'll be coming to you in a moment, but IJ, you got some information.
That's right. Just to remind you that we're here all day and all night, really, the way it is.
Covering from everywhere.
Every angle until we get a result. That's the kind of robust coverage that Channels Television offers you, our viewer. So, how do you get in touch with us? How do you send us your visuals? How do you send us everything that you have from your area? Tag the verdict. Now, if you voted today, we'd like to see your thumb with the indelible ink and the finger that you voted with. You can put both of them together or separately, your choice, and send it to hashtag I voted. And don't forget that the more you send us, the more we're able to analyze and see how far we've gone with this particular election right here on the nation's news leader, Channels Television.
And indeed, while you're sending in your experience from the voting point, we'd also like to let you know that you can watch us on our various platforms, but particularly on YouTube. Subscribe to youtube.com/Channels Television. We're live on YouTube. You can watch us on the go. If you also have the Channels TV app, you can also send us videos or news of happenings around you via the Eyewitness platform on the Channels TV or the Channels 24 app. All these platforms are made possible so that you can stay informed on the go. Again, we're covering the elections robustly 247.
And from every single state of the Federation, every polling unit, everywhere that you can think of.
And if you've been following, our correspondents have been bringing us live updates from the southeast to the northeast to the south-south.
Every geopolitical
North Central, we're here.
So we're back, and maybe we should just kick off the discussion with Mr. Igbeni-Jesu here with us in our Lagos studios. And I guess maybe the question to ask is, did you vote today?
Sure did.
And what was your experience like?
Mixed feelings. I was at the polling station.
Where was that?
VGC. Where I live, yeah. I was at the village.
The same one with the vice president?
Correct.
Okay.
And Mr. Fela Durotori also.
Okay.
I was there at about 10 minutes past 8, and it took about 2 hours later for the polling officers to get in. As at then, we already had a sizable crowd, maybe about 500 people. And when they eventually showed up, they complained that they had logistics issue, bordering on transportation and some security challenges on the way. Well, we were all just interested in voting. We had to get, before they came in, as is normal with VGC, we had organized ourselves, taking a very long list of everybody who were present, so as to make the system very smooth. Altogether, it went very well. VGC was quite smooth. Not very much like what I heard from many other polling stations around us.
Did it have anything to do with the fact that it was a special polling unit in a way?
I would think so. I would think so. We have quite a lot of well-behaved people, if I may use that expression.
Other people will take offense in other regions.
Yeah, that is not about well-behaved.
Can I please withdraw that statement? I apologize. I think the point is, with the kind of people that live within that residential area, the tendency to comport yourselves very highly is just commonplace. But again, it's a mixed gathering. We have all kinds of people. We have people who attend to residents. We have everybody in there. But altogether, it was very, very peaceful.
So did you stay back for the counting of the votes? Did that happen?
I wish I could, but duty called. I needed to be here, so I had to leave.
Okay, of course, in our Abuja studios, we have Mr. Jide Ofo Adibe. Thank you so much for joining us. What was your experience like? Did you vote today? Okay, he doesn't seem to be able to hear us yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so yes, the conduct within the VGC was smooth, was okay. In overall, from what you had and then the experience so far and all the fillers that have been coming on to you, how would you say the conduct has been today?
My candid opinion is that we still have a very long way to go. I sincerely think that taking you know, every factor into consideration. 4 years to prepare, 1 week of deferment, we could do better than what we've done. I mean, let me give you one instance. Not too far from where I live, one of my folks called me and said they had a mild drama. All their materials ended up in another polling unit a couple of kilometers away, and those people's particular materials were sent to them. Upon discovery of it, 2 hours after the supposed time of commencement, they had to quickly flip it before the people went out of control. Those kind of matters are not matters that should be commended. I just think that conducting an election should not be rocket science. I expected some measure of simulation. I expected some measure of greater preparedness, which they had more than enough time to do. Altogether, it's fair because you could see from the resolve of the people that they were willing to cast their vote regardless of whatever will happen. As to INEC, I do think that so much more needs to be desired from them. That would be my sincere evaluation.
But given everything that we've heard, I mean,
yes,
the fact that this is a big country,
yes,
and the postponement was said to have been caused by the big L,
yes,
which is logistics,
yes,
under which you have security, the transportation that you mentioned, the movement of persons and personnel and material at this. And given the constraints, you're a lawyer, given the constraints of the law, which guides the electoral process,
yes,
and probably prevents some of the things that would have made it smoother. Now, the election is, in many places, over.
Sure.
Of course, there are some places where it isn't. Moving forward now, if you were to be more specific about what's to be done.
Yes, I do think that with a higher measure of sincerity, our entire electoral process will need some better retweaking. For instance, we copied the American presidential system. And I used to wonder why we will not go the whole hog to copy all of that which works very well for them. You know, what I see we're doing right now is a combination of an analog and a digital system. We're using a card reader. We're using all the other analog old methods of being able to, you know, verify and vote and all of that. So the question is, what do we really want? If we think that we need some measure of digitization, why not go the whole way? I'm thinking that a lot of this logistic nightmare, our country is wide, it's massive. We all know that. And we've had these problems every year as far back as I can remember, from the 79 elections till date. We've always had logistics issue. So the question you want to ask is, at what point are we going to sit down and face the reality and ask, is there a better way of doing things? I'll give you a quick example. The former president, after he left office and he visited one of the countries, I'm trying to remember now, that had an election, he came back and said to us as a nation that he is realizing that the way we are conducting election is too expensive. That we don't have to have all these polling units in all these new places. It's expensive. We can't meet up. We always have this challenge of not being able to spread across on time. It's a constant. It's going to happen again in 2023. So the question is, at what point are we going to sit down and ask the critical question? Is there other methods that are working for other nations that do not have this kind of logistic nightmare? Nigeria is big, no doubt 190, depending on the numbers you want to agree on, million people, but geographically we are not too big. We have nations that are way bigger than us.
But do they have...
Sorry, before you go, you know we're talking about Nigeria being big, so let's go to one of the regions, the southeast, looking at Imo State, to be precise, where we got there some protests going on. Let's have a look at what's going on there in Imo.
We cannot vote in Abala today. In the morning, as early as 7 o'clock, my people were all here. Nobody more than 2,000, only to vote for this thing. To be disappointed that at booth 1, there's no presidential ballot paper. In booth 2, no House of Rep papers. And it's very much unfortunate.
From 8 o'clock, we got the material by 12 o'clock. And we were all happy that the material has finally landed. But to our greatest surprise, the presidential result sheet was not inclusive, the House of Rep result sheet was not inclusive, and the voting papers were not complete. So, and since then, they have been telling us one story or the other. This presiding officer is bringing it, and up till now, we have neither seen the presidential result sheet, neither the House of Rep result sheet, nor the complete papers or the complete voting papers for the exercise. We are all happy to exercise our franchise, but to our greatest surprise and to our dismay, up to this moment that the rain is falling, you can see all this crowd. We are more than 2,000 people in this place trying to come and be happy that we are coming to elect the future leaders. But to our greatest surprise, up to this moment, we have not done so.
From reports we are getting, this is not the only affected area in the part of Imo State. We also have areas like Works Layout, Madonna Ward 2 in Works Layout to be precise, where they told us that materials and INEC officials are yet to arrive the polling units. We are going to keep you up to speed with what is happening here in Owerri, the Imo State capital, and other parts of Imo State. Back to you in Lagos.
All right, that's coming in from Owerri, the Imo State capital. You hear the people there protesting, complaining about the fact that there were no materials for them to vote in this election. Similar issue going on in Works Layout, Madonna Ward 2. So they had a bit of a challenge there. Now, let's come back to Lagos to get another situation report. I understand we have Bukola Joe Oketumbi giving us a bit of a roundup of the area where she visited. Let's see, Buki.
Earlier in the day, we brought you visuals from the voting process in Okota, especially the Babaiwe Junction. As a moment after we left there, violence broke out. But fortunately, at the Oshodi Collection Center, we met one of the young women who was an adult staff who told us what happened afterwards.
Though it was peaceful in the morning, everything was going well, even before you left. So immediately you left, maybe like 30 minutes or 1 hour. In fact, I don't even get myself. I don't know where it came from. They snatched everything. We don't even know, because everybody was just running helter skelter. We tried our best to protect the INEC materials, but at least, let's say we tried. I really don't know what exactly they took away, because I was after my card reader. So for me, getting the card reader and taking all other things that I know it's very important, because they sent everybody away instantly when they came. Actually, like I said, I did not come out, because even where I ran to hide myself, they even came there. And so one of them injured me, because where everybody was running. So I was not myself, even till now. I just met someone that carried me down from Ago to Oshodi.
Reactions there to the violence earlier reported today. I don't know what you make of it.
She's one of this ad hoc. She's one of the ad hoc staff, and she said,
ran all the way to Oshodi.
Well, she said she found a good Samaritan who took her to Oshodi, but you know, she tried to protect the card reader and 1 or 2 other pieces of INEC sensitive materials that she thought were absolutely essential, but that she's not sure what was taken away, because the first priority for everybody who was there was to safety.
It brings us back to the assurances that we got, not only from the security agencies, from the police in particular, that this process will go on without this sort of thing. So I don't know.
But again, before that, you had Tokwe Kutei from Owerri, who they were complaining about. They didn't even see any materials, so the question of anybody coming to take the materials away didn't arise. That the materials were supposedly locked up somewhere, and they weren't able to vote even up on the time.
Yeah.
So basically, that's. I mean, it's just. I don't know. It's a bit. It's disheartening to hear of this, you know, in various places, and it's becoming a bit more widespread than we initially thought.
And you remember that all the counts that we looked at: free, fair, credible, transparent, unadulterated. So I don't know which of the counts, whether it's too early to look at which of the counts can we check.
The story is still unveiling.
Maybe it's too early to say.
Yeah.
You know, this is it or that is it.
On those 4 points, but again.
Well, while we ponder that, I think I don't know. But maybe one has to take a look at some of this from a semi-detached position without being too without getting too involved at this. But Barrister Igbenijesu, let's come back to you.
Yeah.
Well, first, what's your reaction to what we've just heard, both from Imo and then now from Lagos?
None of it surprises me. I would think that for anybody to be truly surprised would be misplaced. First of all, I heard Professor Dick Kanu say to you earlier on in your show that we don't even have enough policemen to go around the polling booths. We have a people that are hungry, desperate, and all the factors that create an enabling environment for violence to break out is available with us, if we want to be sincere.
But for those who are not hungry and desperate, who actually just got there to cast their vote,
yes.
One of our panelists on the last session was talking about the fact that we might not be able to get legal redress. What should we look at things like that? That if your right is taken away from you, no fault of yours, okay, no fault of INEX, perhaps hoodlums just came. What can you do in terms of the legal framework to get redress?
You know, when you look at it from an entire perspective, looking at it from the broad issues of a national approach, it's going to be overwhelming. If you want to address all of the legal issues that will arise from people being manhandled, you know, in the course of trying to exercise their civic duties, it's going to be so huge that even our judicial system, I doubt if we have the ability to be able to handle it. If you recall, over the last few elections, there had to be reviews of our electoral laws in order to allow more time to be able to review election petitions so that some of them can be concluded possibly before swearing in and all of that. Even with that, we still have many that are dragging. If you now mix that up with citizens having to go to court to seek election redress, can you think about how that is going to look like? Looking at the sheer numbers of the flat spots where this has happened.
Shouldn't that be considered? I mean, wouldn't that be...
What about a better idea?
Which is?
I think that as a nation, I sincerely think as a nation, that we can have a better measure of handling our elections.
And let me pause you there and take you back a bit. When you talked about Nigeria is big.
Yes.
In terms of population,
yes.
the largest black nation on
yes.
the continent. But in terms of geographical size, it may not be as big as some other countries,
correct.
South Africa, Sudan, and all that.
Yes.
Is it Sudan?
Yes, Sudan, of course.
Yes,
Sudan,
now,
absolutely.
But then the question is, do these other countries that you're saying, you're talking about, that seem to have systems that are working,
yes,
do they also share our peculiarities, some of our peculiarities? But you know what, you might have to just hold your thoughts.
Okay.
We'll go on a quick break. When we'll come back, you
okay.
answer that question.
All right.